It's Joever. It's Joever. I told you all it was Joever. I said it was Joever weeks ago. I said it was Joever years ago. It's motherfucking Joever. So here we have Joseph R. R stands for Robinette. Biden number 2 here. And he's basically announcing that it's Joever for all intents and purposes. It's pretty much Joever. But before I read this, I'm sure there's going to be some good stuff in here. Let me frontline by saying, if it was Joever and everyone around Joe Biden knew it was Joever, why did they rig the primaries and not let anyone else run? And the people that did run, they just basically made fun of and laughed out of the room. Then again, it was Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips, so maybe they deserve to be laughed out of the room. Hey, whatever. But either way, that's a little strange. That's a little weird. Not a huge fan of that. But as far as Joe Biden's presidency goes, he's garbage. He's Donald Trump, but with a slightly, different kind of affect to him. Of course, one of the biggest things I talk about on my show is COVID. Joe Biden says that he declared victory against COVID 15,918 times, and yet he has COVID right now as we're talking about this being Joever. So basically, Joe Biden's garbage. He's shit on my shoes, and I don't like him. Now, with that being said, I don't like Kamala Harris either. I think she's garbage. She's a cop. She's she's wibbly wobbly on trans rights, which is a big thing for me. She is huge on the prison industrial complex, which is another thing I care a lot about. She's garbage, a lot of people love to pretend like she's pretty decent on Israel and Palestine. I see no evidence for that. I mean, she's a Democrat. Like, where's the evidence for that? But anyway, it's Joever. Let's read the letter. I just had to front load all that before we get out of here. I'm not going to do this. This is not going to be that long here. I'm a little drunk, by the way. I popped an alcohol here. I'm on a little bit of a bender. I've been drinking 5 days in a row, so if I don't show up sometime in the next couple days, it's probably Joever. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. I'm not so sure about that one. I really don't believe that that's true. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. Citation needed. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation. Citation needed. In lowering prescription drug costs for seniors. Citation needed. And in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. Citation needed. We provide critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to... So, okay, this is just some garbage. All right, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to skip that garbage. I know none of this would have happened without you, the American people. Okay, sure, whatever. Probably because if we weren't there, there would be no country to rule over. So that's, I don't know, a really stupid thing to say. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic. That's not true. Once again, if you think the pandemic is over, you're dumber than shit on my shoes, okay? You have to have an IQ probably below 10 if you think that the pandemic is over. Joe Biden came in, installed Donald Trump's policies, said, hey, the vaccine will solve this. The vaccine didn't actually account for all the rapid mutations of COVID. No one got the booster shots. The pandemic is worse now than it ever has been. So, again, they lied about that. There's internal memos and internal reports in the Democratic Party that were circulating around the 2022 midterms that basically outlined step by step the lie on how to pretend that the COVID pandemic was over. No, of course, you already know that if you're watching my show. But of course, it's Joever, so maybe people don't watch my show and they're watching this video. Where are we? We protected and preserved our democracy. I don't know about that one. We've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Yo, this motherfucker loves OTAN. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. Hashtag not my president. I don't think so. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fully fulfilling my duties as president the remainder of my term. Okay, so he's not stepping down as president, but he's stepping down as the candidate. It is Joever. Let's keep going. I will speak to the nation later this week in full detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all of this work. Yo, Kamala, she played this perfectly. She did no public events. She just let everyone talk about the context of which we live. And all of a sudden, once we started talking about that, we were unburdened by what has been. Can you imagine, a more expertly crafted series of This is like Kevin Spacey in House of Cards. Kamala Harris went into the vice presidency. She, again, what was in the 2020 primary? She got like -6 votes in the 2020 primary. It was a Bernie versus Biden race. Everyone coalesced around Biden, but then they wanted to pick like the token, you know, like, yes, let's go out there and pick someone for the historic value. So we get a black woman. Okay, I'm not, you know, again, that's a good thing. I'm not saying, but Kamala Harris, really? I mean, there's plenty of other black women that are more qualified to be vice president. But hey, okay. So again, just a corporate Democrat to fulfill that kind of garbage. She basically did nothing as vice president. She did absolutely nothing. She was talking about like recipes. She was talking about like coconut trees, and now she's going to be president of the United States. Because again, there is no way that Donald Trump beats Kamala Harris. It's over. And this is why, it's Joever, I should say. And this is why I was advocating for this. You know, since motherfucking 2020, since Joe Biden was not even nominated, I was advocating rule number 1 in Democratic Party organizing is we got to get this fucker out of here as soon as possible. And so again, I've been advocating for this for the last 4 or 5 years. I advocated against him even becoming president in the first place. So again, this is pretty good for me. But damn, again, they did this debate, this historic earliest debate of all time. Why the fuck did they do a debate in June? Why? Because the people in the room knew it was Joever, and this was a coup. I'm telling you all, House of Cards, Kevin Spacey. This is what this is. I mean, the whole show is about him becoming president, you know, without getting elected, and that's what Kamala Harris did, right? But again, the whole reason everyone bullied him into doing this debate in June was because they basically wanted to show the world that it was Joever. And then that's when the coup attempt started, and it was just downhill ever since. It was already Joever on debate night, and it's Joever right now. Holy fucking shit, it's Joever. I believe today, what I have always, there is nothing left America can't do, blah, blah, blah. I may be adding some words in there. I'm a little drunk. When we do it together, we have to remember we are the United States. Is that it? All right. It's Joever. I don't know what else to tell you. It's fucking Joever. Holy shit, boy. Goddamn.